nerve damage, and this girl was trying to open a cream of tartar spice jar with a butter knife so she could make snickerdoodles, and she slipped with the knife and severed the nerve in her middle finger. And she's like she's like and as an aside, were I making snickerdoodles and cut myself bleeding, I would be like, oh, we're making blood snickerdoodles now. um she did not have that reaction. She was concerned about there being blood in the snickerdoodles, and she has interesting priorities. um and she noticed that it was numb around the cut, and she looks at the thing she was using to treat the deep wound profusely bleeding, and it says that if it's numb around the cut, you need to see a doctor. And so she severed a nerve in her finger, and her finger is permanently numb because she severed a nerve in her finger. And that is interesting, I suppose. It is interesting. She has a good like presence, and it is interesting. She tells the story well, and I'm sitting here like wait a minute. Nerve damage Nerve damage is when a nerve gets cut, right? And my gynecological surgeon, Dr. Melanie Martin, she told me that she cut my nerves during my diagnostic laparoscopy to see if I had endometriosis. Diagnostic laparoscopy is the only way to diagnose endometriosis, and indeed, I had very complex endometriosis. Um, So I looked I looked up just now on the internet, why do surgeons sever nerves? Because Dr. Melanie Martin told me that she severed the nerves like as a favor to me. Like I was experiencing pain, like period cramp pain really severely because of endometriosis. And I got I got this surgery. I went under the knife because I had a boyfriend who I loved, and it was what I needed to do to like prove that I was trying to live after communicating to him that I spent my entire life wanting to die, waiting to die, and trying not to kill myself. And I never would have had that surgery. It felt like it just felt like such a violation of me and everything that I am, and for so many various reasons. Like it was horrific just to have that decision. I had decided long ago that I would never have a surgical procedure. Um, and and so I did that, and then the doctor, and of course I did have complex endometriosis. I also had cancer, and the doctor, she told me that she severed the nerves. She told us that, she like as a favor, like as a favor, like I severed the nerves, and and I'm sitting here thinking like, well, okay, maybe like sometimes if you sever a nerve, it's you know like complete, and and uh and it's severed, and and there's numbness, but like why is that a normal practice for gynecological surgeons to sever nerves for endometriosis diagnosis when they discover cancer that they dare not touch? They sever nerves? Like like a surgeon was cutting on my nerves, and like as a favor, like she threw it in like casually, like, oh yeah, I cut the nerves for you, like. And actually, I had discussed with her before surgery that I did not even want laser ablation because you cannot determine with the accuracy as a blade. Um, you can't tell how deep you're cutting with laser ablation, and and we had agreed that she would use a knife. I also like knives. I also don't trust technology. I also would never want a laser inside of me. um, but when you're talking to a surgeon, you don't have a contract in front of you. You don't have a lawyer in the room. And she didn't do that. And I had pain. I had really bad pain, like period cramping. My pain was like period cramps. And it was really bad pain before the surgery. And after the surgery, the pain was like 50 times worse. After the surgery, was all healed up, the pain didn't feel like period cramps. And the pain didn't have any cyclical relation to a menstrual cycle. It didn't relate to it. It was just every movement I make, my nerves register pain. And and it and before the surgery it didn't feel like that. I know. I know that it didn't feel like that. I remember it felt really bad. But after the surgery, and after the surgery was all healed up, and I was supposed to be feeling better, it felt like my leg was being ripped off my body. My leg. And I just looked up on the internet, why, when do surgeons cut nerves? Why do surgeons cut nerves? And the internet was like, that happens by accident. Surgeons don't do that on purpose. And I'm sitting here like, why did my surgeon cut my nerves on a whim? On purpose? And I remember how cold and almost angry she was when I saw her after the surgery. And I told her that I didn't feel better. That it didn't feel better at all. And she gave me free Lupron and told me to take Lupron. And I told her I researched Lupron, and I will not be taking Lupron, no matter how much free Lupron you give me. I never experienced any relief from endometrial ablation. And of course, she never acknowledged in a clinical setting that I had cancer. And the surgery is like so much focus on the cancer. And I know I've thought about it before. And I just felt helpless. Like, if that's why this is my life, because the surgeon tried to sever my nerves with a laser ablation tool that you cannot detect the exact depth of, which is why we use knives. Then it's like the cancer is like a red herring, like in the story. Like when we all should have been focused on my surgeon cutting my nerves and the nature of my pain, when I should have been in the hospital, not 5 years later after I got Medicare approved after my disability application struggle journey. Right then, in 2006, in December, I should have been in the hospital getting nerve damage diagnosed. But back then, the focus was the cancer in my uterus. And it's hard to think about. And it's hard to talk about. Because it's another one of those things in my life that just sounds like bullshit. Like, really? The owner of Why Are You wanted you to be the cute pastel department? Bullshit. Oh no, that's very true. Yeah, yeah. Like, like I have so many of those things, you know? I have so many of those things. But after she was just done with me when I wouldn't take the Lupron injection, I was like, well, I need to go. I mean, she wouldn't even acknowledge that she had called me on her cell phone in December and told me that I had cancer. She wouldn't even acknowledge that she came out of that surgical room, went to my mother in the waiting room, and told my mother I had cancer. It was like she wasn't even the same person. It was like it wasn't even the same person. It was like it wasn't even the same person. It was like it wasn't even the same person. It was like she went out of town for a holiday and she never came back. It was like she didn't even know. It was like she wasn't even the same person. A compassionate, caring woman called me and told me and wanted me to know the results of my surgery as she was throwing her suitcase in her car and going on her holiday. She couldn't go out of town without telling me. The impulse to call me was too strong. And so she did. She called me. And see, the thing is that it had kind of been haunting her because she'd been doing gynecological surgeries, endometrial ablations every day for 30 years. And she'd never seen anything like what was inside of me. And that's a really scary thought. Like, this is someone who's seen a lot of cancer. And it doesn't even look like any cancer she's ever seen. But she said, if it's not cancer, Mindy, I don't know what it is. And she sounded frightened and flabbergasted. And she was like, you had to know. You had to know. I had to tell you. You had to know. And she didn't tell me that she had told my mom. My mom told me separately on a different occasion that Dr. Melanie Martin had come out and had bad news. And, laying on that stretcher as the anesthesia kicked into my system, the very last thought that I had before my surgery, December 6th of 2006, was, this is where I find out I have cancer. So cancer was the focus. Maybe nerve damage should have been. Maybe something could have been done. I don't know. And I don't mean like repair the nerve damage. Anyway, I wanted a second opinion, obviously. This woman who had compassionately called me and so concerned, like I've never seen anything like it in all my years. I don't know what I'm looking at, Mindy. If it's not cancer, I don't know what it is. Just didn't even remember what she saw in me. So I wanted to see the report for myself, and I wanted to have that on hand to go to doctors. So I immediately got the report. And I got the report, my surgical report, and there's pages missing from it. It's like a timeline. It's like the minutes, of something that's going on. And it's like we're doing this and we're doing this and we're seeing this and we're seeing this, and it says a barely legible scribble in the corner, like possible bicornuate uterus, and then there's pages missing, and then it comes back and they're closing me up, and it's really scary, you know. It's really scary to think about, like, all of the things that you kind of like have an awareness of, and the stuff that they talk about in conspiracy theorist communities, and things like that. And I was like, where's the rest of this report? Like, why didn't you copy all of it? And they pull it out and they look at it, and it's like, this is the report, this is all that's here. There's nothing else to copy. And I was like, why would there be pages missing from my medical report of my surgery? You know? like and they're like, I don't know, that doesn't happen. and and it's really scary. It's really scary. I I couldn't even get any evidence that the doctor had found some foreign object inside my human body. And so I went to another doctor. I went to Dr. Huntington then, and and she didn't do anything invasive to locate the softball sized tumor in my uterus. Um, I don't remember what it was. Like the wand thing they put inside of you, like scanning machines. I've been through so much. And I don't like to think about it. I don't like to think about this. I don't like to think about this. Because like why did she cut my nerves? And why was pages of the report missing? Anyway, I continued to see a doctor, and I continued to use the Vibe machine, and I went. I I saw some asshole. He was such an asshole, and he was like, "Nothing's wrong with you." Like he was just like, "Nothing's fucking wrong with you," you know. And he barely had the wand inside of me. I remember that, and he was just like, "There's barely anything there. There's probably a fibroid, just like a pocket of blood. Like that's all that. It's barely anything there." And it's like, okay, well, the last doctor I talked to identified a softball sized tumor. So that really doesn't make sense. Where did the tumor go? And really the only explanation is the Vibe machine. So, you know, um, but it just like, it's like a helpless kind of anger, you know, like that was done to me. I'm also mad at myself. Oh, you know, and I think even more so now that I made that personal sacrifice, that I allowed myself to enter the medical community, which I knew was trust your mechanic to mend your car, and he doesn't even love me anymore. Like that decision that I made, like maybe like threw my whole life away. And I was newly in love. He'd just moved in April that year. And I would never make that decision again. I just don't understand, like, why she would, why, like, if she was covering up the nerve damage in the surgery report, like, then why tell me to my face, and my boyfriend's face, that she severed my nerves? Like, so, I mean, I don't even think she was covering up the surgery. I don't even think, I don't think there's any memory, awareness, anything of what she saw inside my uterus that haunted her. Um, I don't know, maybe they just build a clone and they just don't import certain memories. I guess that makes sense. It'd be a really good conspiracy theory, except it's not a theory. My dad doesn't feel safe knowing me. What did my dad even do in the military? What did my dad even do in the military? Does anybody even know anymore? It's funny, I just talked to my mom, and I just didn't even realize that she was like there to hear it within earshot. And I think that the way I remember it, like him saying something like that was that was him being demonic, like dark, like evil, like that certain way, that certain personality that would come out of him. Like he wasn't like that in front of mom. Like he didn't say those things in front of mom. And and so it was just like jarring when she was like, I remember him saying that. I remember him saying that so well because it was such a strange thing to say to your daughter or to anyone. And I was like, yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. It freaked me the fuck out. I mean, I'd been coping. I'd been coping. I'd been coping. I'd been coping. Maybe I'd have to kill him. I mean, maybe I'd have to kill myself. You know, maybe. But I was coping. These abilities that I have that are just kind of haywire, out of control. Like, I had every reason to believe that he could help me with those things. Just wanted to be able to control the vision, I guess. And power, sure. Yeah, power, magic, witchcraft, like just manifesting fire and moving objects with your mind and all that. Like, yeah, that's cool too, but you know, like I also just wanted the cacophony of voices to shut up at night so I could sleep. And yeah. Oh, do you want to know what he said, I guess? Maybe. That would make sense, I guess. Yeah, I feel like he had a really disproportionate reaction to the to what I did. He tried to put his big man foot in the only item of clothing that was mine, the only thing I'd ever bought with my money from my job, in a world of you don't own anything, everything you own is mine, you don't have a door, it's my door. I didn't take your door, I took my door. Mine. My boots. My platform boots. My platform boots. Everyone was just like, ha ha, clown shoes. And I was just like, these are fucking awesome. Clown is also very accurate. Fucking demonic clown. And they were black shoes with yellow laces. And I ordered them from the Delia's catalog. I ordered something from the Delia's catalog. Like you fill out a sheet and you mail it in. And then they send you. They're awesome. I didn't give a shit that everybody called them clown shoes. Fucking evil clowns are awesome. And they were just sitting in front of his chair, and he was just like, oh, well, these were sitting in front of my chair when I got home from work, so these must be my shoes. I'm gonna put on my shoes. Time to put on my shoes. And like that's almost word for word his little skit, and the intonation is like dead on too. And he's just smirking, and he's just funning, and he's like trying to shove his big man foot into his teenage daughter's shoe. And I flipped the fuck out. Here's the only thing I own. And this man, who, by the way, violates me every weekend while we're watching Mad TV and the X-Files. Violating the only thing in that house, the only thing in my world that by all rights and reasons and laws and decrees of his is mine. What the fuck do you think you're doing? And he did not like that. And he came after me, and he seized upon me, and he put me against the wall, and he let me go, and I ran more, and we were in the living room where the computer is, and it just, like, it wasn't a normal, like, this shit happened all the time, that I would misbehave, but I would mouth off, you know, like, I would, like, be disrespectful. I would like deserve, you know, punishment, I guess. You don't ever deserve to be like slammed against a wall, running for your life, you know, beaten, but um terrorized. Um but like, because I used profanity at him, like, no, just because I took a tone that was the tone that you take when you're commanding your dog. And then what I did was did I liken him to a dog or her to a dog? Oh, yeah. I mean, I was just like, you know, like there's I mean, like on it, like, you know, like how now, you know, there's like little personality, and there's like 16 personality, and there's like fucking like the bossest bitch that you ever met, because I have survived hell. And it was like right then and there, I was that. And I was standing tall and I was not having it. And then I was just like, you better get your fucking bitch under control, barking orders at you. Like, like she commanded my father like a dog on a leash. And he did not take kindly to my awareness of it, my verbalization of it, the reality of it. But yeah, his it escalated when I said that because he then was like, "Oh, well, now I'm defending my woman's honor. Now my loyalty is with my wife." And that was his justification for continuing this. And it was like you don't talk to your mother that way. You don't talk to her that way. I think the reality of it is that they are on one another's leashes. But yeah, I said that and I took that demeanor where it was just like full grown adult standing in front of him, I think, you know. And he reacted differently than he ever had before. And he was angrier. You know? And anger comes from fear. Your ancestors are roving around in your consciousness, surfacing every once in a while. Yeah, I can understand that. And yeah, maybe, just maybe, that day, what spoke out of me, what stood before my dad to put him in his place, was the man who abused and violated and dissociated him to begin with, his Uncle Talbert. I generally do not speak with that kind of, you know. Back then, I certainly didn't. Oh shit, you did not talk like you didn't know proper English. Are you fucking kidding me? My dad grew up picking cotton. He didn't fucking grow up picking cotton and moved to fucking Johnson County so you can fucking talk like you ain't got no education, by the way. Um, so I'd like never talk like ghetto. And, or use a hick accent, you know. But I'm real good at putting anything on, taking anything off in a heartbeat, you know. Always been real good at that. Anyway, he's got me like cornered in the living room and he says like, little girl, you don't know who you're playing with. You don't know who I am. You don't know what I am. I'm not just gonna kill you. I'm gonna end you. I can make it so you never existed. No one will ever remember there was a little girl named Melinda Lee. You will have never even been. He wasn't even threatening to kill me. He was threatening to erase me from reality. That's some new shit. And he said that to me, and I was afraid. And when I was free to run again, I think my option would have I would have had to I think I would have had to just barrel through my mom. I think I would have had to she would have gotten fucked up. Like I would have had to just throw her aside, fling open the door. She could have gotten hit by the door. The door opened the wrong way. If our front door opened the other way, it would have been okay, but our front door opened the wrong way in that heavy door, and it didn't seem like an option for whatever reason. And I mean, that he would say that to me, that he would speak to me from the voice that he's not even supposed to have access to, like on the reg. Like he's not even like 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 he he switched into it, like he knew, like it was acting to protect him, like it was acting to protect him from being prosecuted and imprisoned for molesting his teenage daughter. And and I ran up the stairs and received my first traumatic brain injury in the bathroom. When he kept coming at me, saw that the rug was sliding. I see that the rug was sliding. Like, smirk, advance, I fall. Ugh, you're pathetic. You did that on purpose. And then he leaves me alone. And as the whole thing happened, I'm like a controlled fall, like a controlled fall, like stunt. You're like, you could be a stunt double. You can do this, like controlled fall, you know. And I'm like, it's an act. It's an act. It's a really good act, Mindy. It's a really good act. And I'm like, are we just committing to the role here? And then the stun after my neck collides with the soap dish. I mean, it's just above and below my neck, like the way that the soap dish is like a C. And I'm just laying in the tub, like I didn't even feel like I was in my body. I didn't even feel like I had any control over that. I was like, I don't even know if that was an acting choice. I don't even know if that was like a tactic to just like get this to fucking stop. And I remember like the other time that I do not know reality. I do not know what's going on, that I cannot tell if I'm faking, and it and where I cannot, like where I feel like I'm just like watching someone be me, and I'm not agreeing with the decisions, is when shit broke out with Donnie and I at the Shawnee Station Apartments. And and he fucking like he just like punched me like directly in the eye, like just point blank like punch. And I was like I remember thinking like my contact, like I felt my contact break in my eye. I had hard contacts. I didn't have soft contacts. I had hard contacts. Like I felt my contact break in my eye. And I remember looking at him, and I didn't like fall backwards. Like I took the punch instead of doing anything in retaliation, which I am not like. It's not like I'm okay. Like I'm like I wasn't ever just like taking, abuse. I was giving it too. I was retaliating, definitely. And I mean, like the fights that we'd been in, you know, I knew that I really didn't ever have to worry about like that I was gonna accidentally end this guy. Like other way around, sure, but like I was never gonna accidentally end this guy. Like he was into bodybuilding. He was, yeah, like that wasn't gonna. So it's not like I was like afraid of hurting someone or afraid of what I might do, which that in many situations like that's been the case. And it's like it's my boyfriend, so it's not like a stranger, so it's not like I'm like triangulating like what are potential weapons that I can end somebody's life with. I don't want to kill him or anything like that, but like there's no thought process, there's no nothing. I just dropped to the ground, and then it feels like my body fell out of my spirit. Like it felt it like it it felt like my head stayed here, but like my perspective, but I just like dropped. I mean, I didn't fall backward. I didn't fall backward. I just like dropped after taking the punch. And I'm I'm still present. My consciousness is still there, but I'm laying on the ground and my eyes are closed, and I'm like thinking like it's no effort to keep my eyes closed. It doesn't feel hard. Like if this is acting, it's not even hard to do. And I'm like saying like get up to myself, and I don't get up, and he's like, you're faking. It's fucking bullshit. You're such a fucking crazy bitch. I hate you. And he leaves the apartment, right? And I'm like, okay, well it's safe now. Like can I like but I mean it just like it wasn't like it wasn't even like a decision or anything. It was like I didn't go anywhere, but I couldn't control my body. I couldn't move my body. It didn't. I mean, it wasn't like. It just felt like being the best actor. It was just it felt like an act to me, and it felt like really weird. And then I just popped up and rushed to the bathroom like in the nick of time. Like that little like that awareness that like he broke my contact in my eye. And and I'm like fishing the little bits of glass out of my eyes. My eye is like swelling shut completely. um and I don't even know that I got it all. And like for years I don't even know if there's a piece of contact in my eye because my eye feels messed up. I never went to a doctor for any of the abuse at all because like I know that the system means well, but the system is fucking bullshit. The system is fucked up. Like if I mean this just like the little experience that I had, like not looking into it, not caring to know anything about it, but when my dad molested me and my mom was like, well, I don't, I was taking your grandma to the doctor. Your grandma had a doctor appointment. That's why I couldn't be reached. And it's like, well, yeah, but the other thing is that like I fully told them that I told you that he was molesting me. I fully told them that you witnessed him physically abusing me and my brother on multiple occasions. I fully told them that you are a raging alcoholic, a fucking delusional bipolar mess. I fucking fully told them that you are not a fit parent, you know? And and my brother and I went into foster care, and the foster care home was just fucked up. Fucked up. And it's like, our mom was just the evil we knew. They kept my brother and I together. It's such a special case when a paternal father molests his actual daughter. Just me, always the exception to the rule. So they kept my brother and I together. And then, you know, mom had to go into counseling, we had to go into family counseling. My brother and I were still like the property of the state, and like all of that bullshit that we had to go through. And like, I know the justice system sucks, and like it would just be a fucking pain in the ass to deal with, you know. And like, and it's not like I'm not abusive to him. Like, yeah, he's abusive to me and I'm abusive right back. Like, it's a codependent, like. And then of course you don't like invite the police or the law into your life when you're smoking marijuana to deal with your menstrual cramps. That's why I was smoking it. He was smoking it just to check out and have fun and fuck, like, be a fucking loser. Um yeah. I don't even know what I'm supposed to be talking about now. Uh I don't know. I was like really scared. Like, it felt like so scary, and like I know I've thought about that before, and it's like, you know, I assume that there's nothing I can do, but you know, um it just like doesn't seem like anything is on my side, you know. Like, the Overland Park police, like, they were wrong. They were so wrong. And like, are they being held accountable for abusing a mentally and physically disabled adult? No, they're not. Nobody gives a fuck. Is there any like compensation or acknowledgement of the trauma that I went through? Like, on any occasion when I'm falsely arrested because somebody fucking said something. Like, you know, one of the times I ended up in the fucking mental hospital, it's because my uh friend who threatened to kill himself when I told him I didn't want to hang out with him that much that often. Um and then his mom was going to kick him out of the house, and he was going to kill himself, just walk into a train, because they live by the train tracks in fucking Osawatomie, Paola. And I was like, well, I really do need a roommate, like, who can help me with the financial stuff, but like, you don't have like income or anything, but if you can get that, that would be good. And you know, I care about you. And but I was done knowing him. I was fully done knowing him. I did not care to know him anymore. And I only continued knowing him because he was threatening to commit suicide, and because I was facing homelessness. And now don't misread that there's any compassion in that, because there's absolutely not, by the way. Um See, the thing is that if I became homeless, um because I wasn't able to renew the rent at that apartment, because my ex-boyfriend, you know, who'd been the love of my life for 7 years, you know, was like, "Oh, I'm done with you. Like, I don't ever want to see you again," you know, like, which he did like regularly. And he was like, when the lease is up, I'm so excited for the lease to be up, because then I'm done with you. Just like the fucking shit that my mom was like, "Oh, when you're fucking 18, I can't wait until you're 18. I can't wait to be done with you," you know. And it's just like, fucking whatever, man. And so for me, homeless is is couch surfing. This is soft homeless. And this is a wonderful luxury. This is a wonderful luxury that I have at my grasp, that I can be soft homeless, okay? Couch surfing. Like, there's like a few people that I can stay with, but mostly I would be living a hop, skip, and a jump from where that friend of mine, who wanted to be more than friends, like, he was just a predator, um, would be getting kicked out of his mom's house, and I am a fucking stop on the way to the tracks. That's where I would be. If I refused to let him live with me when he got kicked out of his mom's house, then we would both be in payola. And somebody with nothing to lose, who wants me, who hates me, who is fucking demonic and psychotically dangerous and fucking like, dude, that guy is fucked up. I'm on the way for him to go take his life. That didn't seem like a good, safe place for me. That didn't seem like that was gonna go well for anyone. And, you know, you can account like that he's a pussy and he's not gonna kill himself, but he's gonna be roaming around the fucking neighborhood, like, traumatized by being homeless and fucking don't got shit to lose by fucking with me. So, like I'm looking down the road and I'm like, okay, well, yep, I could be in the trailer at Jim's with fucking Josh knocking on the fucking window, and and it's just like, well, kill or be killed. And I mean, and like, I would definitely be able to murder him and drag him to the tracks, and like, I don't think it would be much of a problem, but like, I did not want his blood on my hands. Like, I did not want that ugly motherfucker on my hands. And I thought that like it wouldn't be such a big deal, and I thought that, like, well, if that's the alternative, if of all the fucked up things, his mom lives right next to my only option of like roof over my head, security, awesome guy who loves me, older guy, um like angel from heaven, demon from hell. Like, it was just like, well, if that like fucking rock in a hard place, I tell you, is the only way that I operate in this life, is like fucking rock in a hard place, man. It's like, well, I can avoid being homeless, and I don't have to get rid of everything that I own. I don't have to figure out how to get rid of everything that I own, and I don't have to worry about it. um so let's see if this roommate thing works out. And like, it works out okay, and we get along and whatever. And then this friend, who's only in my life because he threatened to fucking kill himself, and because he might try to kill me or otherwise fuck with me, and the people who are taking care, more so really, like, the fucking people that took me into their lives would be fucked with. Like, that I would just be like a fucking cancer. Like shouldn't have fucking fucked with Mindy, because every fucking dog follows her home. Trust. But I mean, my boys out there definitely could have handled themselves. Definitely would have killed him in a heartbeat. If all I did, no explanation whatsoever, was just like, kill him, they would do it. And but like I said, I didn't want his blood on my hands. That's a lot of mucus. It's gross. he gets a job, he gets income, we sign the lease, and like, I don't remember if it's the day that we sign the lease or the day after we sign the lease. I'm not sure that 24 hours has passed between him signing his name on a contract with my name also on it for him to live in my apartment, for him to be able to lay claim to it, for him to legally be there, for me to not be able to just kick him out because it's my place, that he rapes me. So then I just live with this guy who raped me. And I don't even have the awareness that he raped me because I was really drunk. And I perceived that that was entirely my fault. I was too drunk to even sit upright against a wall. I was too drunk to move 3.5 feet to the front door and get outside so that I wouldn't be raped. I was too drunk. I didn't realize that it's rape until Me Too happened. I didn't realize that like he had like raped me. Like, not like for real rape, you know? Um but I you know, the funny thing about that is that like before I realized that I was raped, I wasn't like traumatized by it. I mean, I was fucking unhinged. I was not okay, and nothing was okay about the situation that we were in at all. Like it was night and day that his name went on the lease, and he just became a monster. And like his countenance just like he went from like and suddenly like you could see how much effort it had been for him to be all when he'd go, you know. And he was terribly demonic. And you know, the thing is, his mom warned me that he was full of demons, and that inviting him into my home was inviting demons, and I wouldn't be able to get rid of them. And she was like, you talk about my son and I don't know who you're talking about. That person doesn't exist to me. And then she'd go pop pills, and you know, like, well, because she's popping pills and because she's a fucking crazy hoarder woman in the country, I'm not putting a whole lot of stock into her opinion of her son. What would my mom say about me to people? What does my mom actually say? What has my mom actually said about me to fucking people? That I am a heroin addict, that I am a meth addict, that I am a dangerous person, that I'm an evil person. It was just like my mom would fucking say that. My mom would be wrong, but she would fucking say that, you know? So, I don't know. It's just weird that you like don't feel traumatized by your rapist until you're aware that it's your rapist, you know? Like it wasn't until I knew that I was raped that I was just like that I just every time I closed my eyes was just reliving it. That I would every time I closed my eyes I didn't see anything except his face. Um so yeah, that like it's just that's interesting. But so we actually got another apartment together because like, you know, when things weren't hell and when like his demon wasn't on full display, um it was good, it was fun. And I don't have anyone else. My ex-boyfriend abandoned me for this period. And you know, I didn't go to him, and I wasn't like Josh had sex with me while I was unconscious from alcohol. Like I didn't go to him. Like Josh is crazy fucking psychologically and mentally and verbally abusive, and like he's also like fucking crazy. Like he's fucking like demented. Like he is a 30-year-old with early onset dementia. And fucking evil as fuck. Just evil as fuck. Like threatening to poison my water, threatening to poison my cats, you know? Just evil as fuck. And Oh, and a hoarder. And a hoarder. Like, just like his mom. Like an absolute hoarder. He never threw away a coffee ground filter thing the whole time I knew him. He would not. He would not even sleep in the bedroom that I provided for him when he was just my friend staying with me so he wouldn't be homeless. He filled it with comic books. He spread those comic books all over the bedroom trying to sort them. And he said, "Well, I can't pick those up, so I can't sleep in there." So he then claimed the living room. And then he was irritated if I was in my living room. He was irritated if I was in my living room because he was trying to sleep there. And it's like, are you fucking kidding me? I provided you a bedroom. You are choosing not to sleep in your bedroom. So whatever fucking happens around you while I'm just going about my life. And he's like, you're just doing it to irritate me. You're not really like this. And it's like, you're new here. This is exactly how I'm like, like before I let him like move in with me, I hung out with him like 5 fucking times, like for like 3 hours each time or something like that. Like we barely fucking knew one another. But the second that there was another guy on the scene that my boyfriend could just my ex-boyfriend could just like fucking like, she's your problem now. He jumped at the opportunity. So, I mean, he totally did this to me. Like like that ex-boyfriend that I'm talking about, love of my life for 7 years. I got surgery for him because I loved him that much. I would have married him. It's the only time I've ever like considered like, yeah, like having kids. I would love to see how beautiful our kids are. Like I don't think he would be a good dad at first. I think it'd be all a hard thing cuz you suck at having a fucking backbone, by the way. But like I think that your kids would love you, and I think that it would be good, like and not seriously like talking about it or anything, but just merely entertaining the thought is a profound thing, because never before did I look at anybody and I was like, yeah, our kids might be cute. I was not that person. And yeah, like I chose him and I chose wrong. And my grandma told me I chose wrong, but my grandma was so fucking prejudiced. Like I didn't even know all that racist stuff about Mexicans until I introduced my half Mexican boyfriend and my grandmother. Shit. I didn't even know what the racist stereotypes were for Mexicans until that moment. God damn. But that wasn't why he was no good. He's no good because he's no good. And he doesn't give himself much opportunity to be bad. But he definitely has an evil streak. And I mean this, I don't even know, like, I don't even know I'm talking about this. I've said it all before. It doesn't matter. It's like it just doesn't feel like anything new is coming. Like without somebody to bounce ideas off of, without anybody to say anything while I'm saying this, you know. Don't look at me. Don't look at me and tell me that dissociative identity disorder is rare. Don't you dare fucking look at me and tell me that all that barely ever happens. Don't you ever fucking look at me and tell me that all those people, that fucking like weird phenomena where there's a whole fucking bunch of people who have DID on TikTok. How rare is it? How rare is it if I like have it to a degree, if I was with a guy for 7 years who has it fully, if my father is, if my mother is, if that girl at the fucking party I went to was, if that other person from high school was, like, what the fuck? Doesn't seem very rare to me. Doesn't seem very rare to me. You know, and like, and people are like, well, it can't be dissociative identity disorder if he was, you know, like, you were just in love for 7 years and you only saw that one altar. It's like, actually, yeah, that totally makes sense. Yeah. When he was in this perceptively, like, when the altar that was created to protect him, when the monster took up in him for whatever reason, we don't know. Why did his mom pull him out of the church? I don't know. Jehovah's Witnesses molest little boys. I don't know. What the fuck is wrong with his older brother? I don't know. Um but yeah, when he was safe, why would a monster surface? You know, like the altars are created for the purpose of protection. You know, like, what I was in love with and what was in love with me was like that precious thing that they were protecting. And I would have to deal with, you know, going out thrifting, like, you know, I could leave the house so rarely, and I know he wanted to, like, do something fun, but he just, like, he didn't want to be there. He didn't want to be there. He didn't care that I was happy. And every mention of anyone else in, like, when I became best friends with Lexi Lush online, every fucking mention of my best friend online, he, like, it was like he just, like, checked the fuck out. Just like you could not say her name and have him stay my fun loving sweet little boyfriend, love of my life. He would just be like you can see fucking people switch. Fucking looking back, I know exactly what his switch looks like. I know 100% what his switch looks like. My switch won't go. I won't let that switch be thrown. So I'm a whole nother ball game. I'm a whole nother ball game anyway, though, you know, because I fucking know I'm God. Super conscious. If you're all of consciousness, how do you ever, like, go unconscious? Like, it doesn't naturally happen, that's for certain. The only way for that to happen is for them to put drugs in you. But yeah. Yeah, so, like, he was switching back then. But just, you know, just like for the afternoon, like when he was like done. Like, he was done. He's like, I don't want to be here anymore, but you're still having fun. And it would feel, I mean, it would just feel like the clouds overhead were ripped away, like butterflies were falling dead out of the air, like balloons I was holding were popping and the strings falling in my hand, like the whole world was darkening. It was like, it was like he just hated me. He just hated me. He get hungry. He get hungry, but he hates eating, and it's complicated to eat because of my diet and what we've had to become aware of in order to keep me alive. And he feels sick when he eats, and he to this day refuses to go to the doctor and find out if he's got cancer because he believes he's got cancer. So he's so afraid of it. He's so afraid of it. And I'm just like, I don't know. Like, what is the fucking point of this? What is the fucking point of this? To like go over the fact that like fucking that he is bad news? I mean, like, I know that. I know that through and through. I know what I felt with Sean Todd. Like how close I felt to God just on the phone with Sean Todd. and and when I felt like that in my life with my boyfriend, 7 years we lived together, it was because I felt like that. It wasn't because he entered the room. It wasn't because of him. Like, I loved him. I loved him. I loved him. But that love and light life that I was living, that was just me having my feet under me. That was just me, like, I've got an Etsy. I made a friend online. And she's, like, kind of famous and awesome. And, like me. Just like a twin. Just, like, watching myself dance on the stage. Just, like, oh, Lord, I can't do it. But I can watch her do it. I mean, the reason that I even like, that she even came into my awareness because I was like, every idea I had for a photo shoot, a fashion item to make, a fashion accessory to make, a way to do my hair, like it was like there's fucking Lexi Lush again. Are you fucking kidding me? All right, all right, all right. I hear you, universe. I hear you, universe. I'll click. I'll bite. We'll see what this is all about. Okay, okay. And I was like, oh shit. She's just doing me. I can't do me. She's just doing me. That's awesome, man. Like, I can't do jack shit. But I can cheerlead for this precious little soul who, like, doesn't know pain. And I don't want her to ever know pain. So, like, I was like, well, maybe I shouldn't, like, want her to know me. But, I mean, we had the same cravings at the same time. Like, our outfits would look similar on the same day, and it, like like oh, like we were both thrifting, and we both had sushi, and like oh like it was just like I felt such a connection to her. I felt such a connection to her. And I think that my boyfriend felt really like edged out. I think that he was really hurt whenever I was, just like in a toy aisle. And my boyfriend was awesome. He loved toys and he got into dolls, and but like then he'd get like hungry and tired, and and I would just and I I would have been, just like running around doing my thing, and the other thing is that when someone's pushing you in a wheelchair, you don't see their face. You don't see like the moment that they're fed up. You don't see them rolling their eyes. You don't see them. You don't see how they look as you're going through the world like, ah, ah, as you're dancing through life. You don't see what they look like until you turn around and look at them. So when I jump up, because I'm like, oh wow, there's a giant pony, oh wow, look at how awesome this thing is, like, oh my god, and you look back at who's been wheeling you through the thrift store, and it's just that guy. And it's just like, I shouldn't have said it, and I should have been able to stop myself from saying it. I should have tried harder. I should have realized that it was like, it just deepened it somehow. It just deepened it. It was just, it hurt him. It hurt him. He must have felt replaced. Just like, oh, you're tired, you're hungry, you want to go. I wish Lexi were here. I wish Lexi were here. I wish Lexi were here. I said it all the time because I felt it all the time. And then when I became friends with Ari because I sold my fucking DS online because Ari also followed Lexi. She saw my post and she bought my pink DS and I couldn't play Animal Crossing anymore because of my disability, and then I could give that gift to somebody who couldn't afford to do it without this thing. And we became friends, and then I was like, well, I wish Ari was here. I wish Ari was here. I wish Lexi was here. I wish Ari was here. I wish Lexi was here. I wish Ari was here. I wish Lexi was here. And like I didn't want to be there with him. And like and he's just a little kid. Like he's just a little kid, like to do stuff like drive and adult life and go to work and stuff. Like he had to be in this mode that's just like this robot, like I think it could be perceived as on the spectrum, but I also think that like no. but the like the anger in him, like there's so much anger in him. But I guess it makes sense that like a kid can't take the wheel, so Monster had to drive us there. But he put me up on a pedestal. He did. I think he put me on that pedestal the night that I did Full Disclosure. And he was under the influence of fucking oxycodone because he had a headache, and I didn't realize it was like anything, I was like, I don't have anything besides oxycodone to give you. I don't want you to have a headache. I want us to have a good time, But also, like, he was like, my mom used to get us codeine cough syrup like a lot, and like, I'm used to that, and it was like, it didn't seem like a big deal. But like now, Full Disclosure was like to somebody else. Full Disclosure like went into somewhere, and like it did not get back out into circulation, but like it established this pedestal. And Full Disclosure, I'm talking about for like 8 hours I just sat and I was like, so you want to be my boyfriend, you want me to be your girlfriend, you want us to go steady, and you have significant feelings for me, and I have significant feelings for you also, and I want you to know who I am and what I'm about, and I want you to know exactly every bit of crazy that I am perceived to be, And I want you to understand that I do not think it's crazy. I just know that I'm psychic. And at that point, you know, I wasn't like so solid on being God. I still had that thing. I still had it then when I met him, when I chose him, when I hooked up with him, I still had it. I still had that degree of separation. I still had that comfort blanket where when it got overwhelming, when shit got too real, when it was like, oh dear, I had that bad thought and then that bad thing happened. Like, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. And like, I would just be like, I'm just crazy. I'm just a crazy person. Oh, I'm just crazy person. Just crazy person. Like, every time I'd start to think, like, I, I'm, I am creation. Like, I would just be like, no, you're just crazy. You know, because sometimes being creation gets to be overwhelming, you know? Like, like, if you can, like feel atoms like spinning towards one another and the webs that lace our brains and stuff, like it's intense. And then that mirror shattered and there was like yeah, no, definitely not just imagining that voice, like you know, and like it's ridiculous. It's like dude, you don't have the fucking accuracy that I have if you're just like imagining voices, you know, like if like you don't have the dead on accuracy that I have if you're just like a crazy person having delusions imagining that you're talking to entities that exist outside of time space, you know, it just doesn't work like that. And yeah, but I mean, I don't know what I'm supposed to be talking about. Because all I do is tell these stories. That's all I do is tell these stories. And I don't get anywhere because there's nowhere to get. But yeah, I mean, it's not like an altar wasn't present for the 7 years that we were together. It definitely was. It you know, he never initiated anything sexual except for the first time. The first time he initiated it. I would not make the first move because I had turned over a new leaf and I was not going to be that person that I was anymore. The first time he made the move, but every other time it was me. Every other time it was me being a sexual predator preying on a boy who dissociated the second that sexual arousal came into the picture, and I was the monster abusing him and he just went along with it. And that's why and this is like that's why he couldn't take direction in bed, because if I was demanding him to be present enough to speak and operate his body and not, you know, like he could drone out, like he could like zone out and like do something sexual, like deer in the headlights, and like something would happen. But like the second I would say a little more to the left, he would be like, fuck, I can't fucking do anything fucking right, and it would just be like, oh shit, and we're done, you know. So it was like, that was fucked up. That was DID presenting itself. And yeah, when we broke up, he was like, he it was like he had this awareness that he had been abused, you know, like just like how I was talking, like until I realized and acknowledged and admitted and accepted that my friend had raped me, I was not traumatized by it happening. Like I didn't even think of it. And then as soon as I realized it, I was traumatized by it, you know? And after we were broken up, he's like he's I'm not sure exactly what I did. I don't know. Well, here's the thing is I know two things that I did. When I was like really, really like borderline psychotic, like just barely there, like having this really intense like spiritual awakening like thing going on. Um, I was like fucking playing games, like and going too deep in games, and like embodying a role and then like committing to the role and not being able to come out of the role, and like everything that I'm talking about right now is like also another way of DIT presenting itself. Like I was not in my body, I was watching my body do and say other things that I didn't want it to do, because when I was in the bathroom and I was pretending to be in a Sleeping Beauty situation where he was my prince and he was going to wake me up because I hadn't drowned, I dyed my body blue with my hair dye in my bathtub and made myself look dead for the express purpose of my grandmother, who can scry and see psychically but doesn't have any awareness that she has this ability. She's blind, actually. Like, it's her psychic ability that allows her to go through the world like she's not blind, but she doesn't realize that. Like, no one knows that but me. um, yeah, my grandma's super psychic, and the way that my grandma sees is spiritually and like from above and everything. And so my grandma was my grandma was not okay, and I wanted to communicate to her that it was okay to leave. I just wanted her to be free of her pain. She hated this life. She was so abused. She survived so much trauma, so much damage, and she wanted to die. She talked about it. She was like, I don't know why I'm still here. I don't know why God is like, why am I still here? My grandma lived to worry about me. The only way my grandma was going to leave is if I was not there to worry about. And so I did this elaborate death scene. Like, you haven't seen a suicide girl like what I fucking did. Trust. Oh, that Suicide Girl thing, that was my idea originally. I was gonna be Suicide Girl, and I didn't get on that quick enough. And oh, lo and behold, Suicide Girls is like an actual thing that became just an exploitive, like porn industry evil, like fucked up thing. But that had been like, I was banking on that, man. I was gonna have a fucking like coffee table photo book, because this was my Suicide Girl idea. Like that was, I'd been suicidal all my life and imagining all these elaborate ways, because I'm not just gonna kill myself. It's gonna be a fucking piece of art, you know. And so I just had all of these suicide ideas that I wanted to just, make photo shoots of it, and it would just be like, I mean, exactly what Suicide Girls was, but not an industry at all. It was just me and my branding. But I came up with that when I was like 16, and Suicide Girls, I don't know. I mean, well, I was 16 in like 98, so that tells you like Suicide Girls is like down the road. There's like internet and like socializing and like porn and everything, like it did not even dawn on me that it could be a business or anything. I was just like, I'm an artist. How am I going to be, when I'm free, when I'm out of this house, like all I for imagining a future for someone who's just suicidal and wants to die and has survived so much of this bullshit like already, like like well, once I'm out of this house, once I'm out in the world and I can be an artist, what am I gonna do? I'm just gonna pretend to commit suicide and become famous from it. And yeah, so that was a bust. Why was I talking about suicide girls committing suicide? Oh god, yeah, right. So this Suicide Girls death scene for my grandma. So, I wanted to, I felt like I felt her eyes on me. I perceived that her eyes were on me. I held my breath for a very, very, very long time. I was underwater for a very, very, very long time. Um, like it was like split second that I was like keeping myself conscious and alive, and not really drowning myself, but I dyed my body blue. I had the window open so that it was freezing cold, as if I had been laying there in the freezing cold. It was winter, in the freezing cold, and I had turned blue. And so I was still as death. And then, like, I felt I felt grandma there. I felt grandma there, and I was like, go. You don't need to be here for me. I'm not here. Because she was just living to worry about me. If I'm not there, there's nobody to worry about anymore. So I tricked my grandma into going into the light, and then the mood just like it was like a shift of energy, and then my focus was just like on my boyfriend, and he kissed me and expected me to wake up, and I didn't wake up, and I didn't wake up, and like the fucking like the altars the altar like someone was like oh fuck, it's on, like it's on, and and someone's just fucking laughing like it's the funniest fucking thing, and someone's like evaluating the entire scene, like critiquing everything and being like the angle of your camera is off, like it needs to be 23 degrees that way, like this wasn't even good enough, like and 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 me that should be in the body, able to control the body, not able to control the body. I'm breathing, I'm alive. Like my eyes are staring dead straight. Like I'm not acknowledging that his face is right in front of me. I'm looking right through him like I looked right through my mother at my grandma's funeral a week later. And I don't want to be still. I don't want to be fooling him. I'm looking at the horror come across his face, and my entire heart is breaking. And I'm like, I don't know what you pull at. What are you pulling at when you're trying to get control back from an altar? What are you pulling at? But I was clawing to get back in control. So I know that was a moment where he experienced trauma. He was my little boyfriend playing pretend with me, and I didn't wake up, and it was like he died. And he was so good and so sweet. When I didn't wake up, he hauled my body like my lifeless corpse. I was alive, and I was just like, stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it. Drop the act! Drop the act! You win the Oscar! But you can't drop it. Not only does your body say and do things that you don't want it to do, it also won't do things. Like no force within me could make me utter a sound, or just acknowledge, or just focus, or just make eye contact with the love of my life. You know. And that thing that thought that was just funny, that thing that was just like that the one that just takes pretend too far, the child that just won't stop playing pretend, like she's so problematic. She's so problematic. she's someone that, for me to function, I I I had to put her in a cage. And sometimes it's like that cage is like a little box in the basement of a big house. And I'm, upstairs, and you can't even hear that she's screaming and hollering down there and rattling the bars. And other times, she's right fucking there. Other times, she's right fucking there. He was so good. My sweet Sean. He tried really hard to brush my hair out, but I have really hard hair anyway, and I had been in the tub for hours swishing around, and it had like tied itself in knots. Like actual like sailor's knots and shit. Like he's just crying as he was cutting off my hair, and I'm just laying there like a living fucking doll, and he's just cutting off my hair, and he's Mindy, your hair, your beautiful hair. And it wasn't even that short, but it was like a significant amount of hair, but I had a lot of hair. It wasn't even that short, or it wasn't like he was like buzz cutting me or anything like that. It was just like 6 inches of hair here and there or whatever. It's like a bad haircut, but he he dressed me, and and there's this horrible clinical voice that's looking over this, and it's like, this is good practice because you could become paralyzed. You're very sick. He could need to do this in real life. And it's like, I fucking hate that fucking clinical voice, and that fucking clinical voice is a problem too, because if that clinical voice starts to get the fucking reins, well, I mean, you're familiar with the fucking Nazi medical scientists, right? That's what that is. That's all that is. That's all that is. That is a dangerous fucking person. See, I don't understand what I don't understand is how there's this huge DID community, and they're all just like happy little fucking like different people. Like, I'm a different weird person, like I'm a cool guy, and all this fucking bullshit. And nobody, I haven't seen anybody who's like, she's on the other side of the wall right now. I'm about to lose control of my body. I might try to kill you. Like, I don't see any of that going on. And I don't hear about any other alters. I don't hear about any other people with dissociative identity disorder who, grew up into fucking adult men and had fucking adult lives and decided to fucking molest their daughter and not have any recollection of it because they're fucking DID. He fucking passed a lie detector test. That's because he's DID. I don't hear about that. Think about it. That don't mean that all that fucking army of DID on TikTok don't got crazy little fucking girls and psycho Nazi scientists running up in them, taking the reins from them. You don't know what the fuck those people are doing. All of their little fucking personalities, like they don't even know. You don't even know. See, I'm not completely split. Whatever happens, whoever takes the reins, I am there. This is my curse. My boyfriend, DID, he misses time. He's just like, as soon as we left the restaurant, it's just black for me. I don't even remember until I woke up the next morning, Mindy. And I'm like, you pushed me against the car. We made out passionately. We had a romantic night. and he pale as a ghost. He's fucking Mexican, pale as a ghost. He's just like, oh, I think I'm gonna throw up. And And it's like I understand, like, he wasn't there for it. I'm there for it all, baby. I'm there for it all. I was there when some fucking infant thing like dug shit out of its ass and smeared it on the wall. I was there when some fucking psycho person like uh busted a bottle of vodka that had red food dye in it, so it was like a bloody mess in the fucking freezer, and then took the blue food dye and for some fucking reason decided to stamp her hand on the door of like my Indian Israeli fucking neighbor. Like which, like, if you have like the full context of my life, like those things can kind of make sense, because when I lived at Lakeview and my dad was molesting me regularly, we lived next door to like these Indian people that painted their house bright fucking blue, like the Smurf house is what it was called, and it was so fucking bright blue that like the Virgin Mary that sat in front of their house, this pure white statue, the blue bounced off of the white and it looked like she had a blue shawl, and then they eventually painted it blue. And like so all I was doing, was just like the blue people, like Indian people are blue people, but like the fucking like the logic that the logic is left up to like the fucking child and the execution is the delight of the fucking psycho behind bars to carry out. It's not a good situation. It's not a good situation. I don't even see anybody talking about like alters cutting themselves or hurting themselves. Like I don't see any of these DID people on TikTok, like like fucking like cutting their hair and not realizing it, like doing things to their bodies. Like I have tattoos that I was not present for. That I was not present for. That's fucking disturbing, And they're like when something like more not me like surfaces, like younger, when something younger surfaces in my consciousness, like I will be like, oh right, like and it'll take me a minute to be like, I have tattoos, okay, right, and where am I? Oh, right, okay, yep, live by myself. What's the year? Who's the president? All right, got all my ducks in a row. But like I don't lose consciousness. So for me, having this dissociative identity disorder where I'm not completely split and I am witnessing, viscerally experiencing everything that these fucking altered mayhem fuckheads do with my life and my body and my relationships. Oh, my relationships. It all of that I'm witnessing is traumatic experience. So it's not just, like I mean, it's just continuous traumatic experience. If someone jacks my body for a day or two, I'm still up there, fully up there. Everything they do, everything they say, I'm crying helplessly, like I just begging, please stop, you've had your fun, please stop. Like it's not a fucking joke, man. I fucking existed before Harley Quinn existed, and it's like when Harley Quinn was actually made, like the Harley Quinn that I already was, like went in, and 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 I mean, nobody was interested in me anymore because I was Harley Quinn in real life before Harley Quinn existed. And and like then it existed and everyone was like, "Oh, you're just doing Harley Quinn." And it's like, "I'm just being me." And the whole world denied my identity because something fictional was created that was an imitation of me. And it's like that went in, and it's really resentful about that. I think it's really resentful about that. And I don't know how to deal with this because I go to therapists and I say, well, I have dissociative identity disorder, but I'm there witnessing these horrible movies and I can still feel the things that are happening in my body. I just can't control it and I can't stop it. And it's just like 36 hours of continuous trauma because I'm not at the wheels of my body, and like that's what it is for me. And for my ex-boyfriend with DID, it's just missing time, just blackout. He doesn't know what he does. Like, oops, accidentally trafficking drugs, that's not good, but he doesn't know it. He doesn't know it at all. So he doesn't like other people who have dissociative identity disorder when it's properly severed, huh? Maybe like the fucking surgeon didn't properly sever my nerve when she did my endometrial ablation. Like, oh, the reflections. Oh my gosh, the synchronicities. It's just fascinating, isn't it? Oh yeah, it's fascinating. Yeah, we love it. Yeah, when I was institutionalized at Osawatomie State Hospital, the original insane asylum in the state of Kansas, when I was institutionalized in Osawatomie State Hospital, my intake is when like the little psycho clown came out, and that's just her voice. That's what it sounded like as a kid, um and that's just her voice. And everybody in the building, everybody came to watch the show as if I was putting on a show. And here I am, um like getting naked in front of people. I'm locked in a padded room. um they don't even attempt to go near me because I have proven myself to be so dangerous. um I definitely had control um when I went in there and was like a relatively normal person, and they left the room for like a second to go get a paper that they needed for my intake, and I jumped up and grabbed the trash can lid, used the blanket they'd given me to loop around the trash can lid, and I was just swinging it. And I was just like, we're getting us out of here. And uh like I don't even think I had control. I don't even think I had control, like taking two steps with that thing. I was like, what the fuck are you gonna do? Like kill people? You can't get out of here. Because I remember just because I mean, I was proficient with my weapon. I'm proficient with every weapon so far. And I've never done this before. I've never done this before. So this like donut ring trash can lid thing and the blanket, and I like just perfect at this at the plastic like door boxes, just smash, 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 smash. And I'm watching myself do this, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. This isn't going to get you out of here. This is only going to get you in more trouble. You need to stop doing this. And I did not have any control. I didn't have any control when I tore apart the mattress, and I wasn't in control as I was observing everybody come watch the show, and everybody be like people would show up for their shift and they would be like, you got to see what we got in here. You got to see what we got in the tank. Like you won't even fucking believe it. It's fucking Harley Quinn. And and people be like, what are you talking about? And that fucking like thing that is in control of my body like eats it up, loves it. It's like, well, let's give them a show. Yeah, so that sucks. That really sucks. I yeah, I it's not a psychotic disorder, but like my alters are psychotic. Like I feel like there's probably 3 distinctly different personalities within myself who have at times taken the controls, and I have had to sit back and be traumatized by what they're doing. They're psychotic, you know, like so it's concerning. So like dismissing the DID community that like it's not real is disturbing because like you might just be like discounting like a whole fucking world of serial killers. Cause like, oh, by the way, um that like you know, it's weird. It's hard to even say like what's the fucking worst one of them because like the fucking like psychotic clown. Because like my Harley Quinn is more like the Joker Harley Quinn. It's like if the Joker never was, and everything that the Joker is in Harley Quinn. Like Harley Quinn, like the cartoon character that was created is they as far as I know, they didn't actually base it on me. Although what did my father actually do in the military? We don't know. Um but uh like there's a like she doesn't cross lines that the Joker crosses, and she doesn't have the designs and the plans and everything. Like she's, you know, just like she's just like along for the ride. Like I'm like really joyous about, you know, everything that's going on, but like I'm the Machiavellian mind behind it also. So it's like I'm both Joker and Harley Quinn, I guess. But it's a lot more dangerous to have like a Joker-esque Harley Quinn than it is to just have a Harley Quinn, right? Like yeah. So um the yeah, the thing is that like um if somebody wanted to, if somebody had, you know, the desire to just you know, like pluck up people with dissociative identity disorder and um you know, brainwash them and use them as weapons to shoot up schools and whatnot, you know, like um you know, that's what the fucking Nazi doctor shit was all about. Mind control. It was all about mind control. And they figured that shit out. Like, and that's why we don't talk about dissociative identity disorder, by the way, because dissociative identity disorder is exactly how they do the programming, how they create the soldiers, how they have the like at a command that you have no awareness of because you have no idea what you're programmed with. You have no idea what you're capable of. And this is why we have to like have some forgiveness for Courtney Love, because obviously she's a victim of this. Even if she's also a perpetrator, she is still a victim. But like, man, if you're wrong about all those kids who think they have DID, it is just so performative though. It really is just so performative. Like everything that I've seen is just so performative. And you know what? Like they all like every single one of their alters like is like kimped and concerned about their appearance, you know, like I that's hard to buy. That's hard to buy. And if it is the case that like they have all of these shiny personalities on the surface, that doesn't mean that there's not a fucking psychopath that could go be a serial killer or a school shooter in a heartbeat, like, you know. But I'll tell you, like the very masculine one that I have, that like this guy is very much integrated into my personality, and I'm talking about 16 now. 16 is very masculine. 16 is very integrated into my personality, and 16 is 100% ready to go fuck shit up. Like no qualms about mass murder. 16 wants to run into a mall and kill everybody, and fucking Psycho Clown is gonna have a heyday too. But like It's messed up, man. It's messed up. Cause, cause the thing is, like they're both like psycho, like, and they both want to murder people and everything. But like, 16 is fucking cold about it. 16 is so fucking angry. It's not even funny. 16 is so fucking angry. It's scary, man. Like if 16 starts to surface, like reality cannot fucking handle it, and like this is fucked up, and this is like why I don't have friends for long sometimes, because like, no fucking joke, 16 starts to surface and it's like a demon has entered the room. No fucking joke. Fucking lights go out, shit falls off the wall. You suddenly like get phone calls, or there's a crash like right outside, or like a storm starts immediately and there's fucking lightning and thunder. Like if you get 16 in a bad mood, then reality becomes in the palm of 16's hand, and 16 wants to just crush it. And especially if that means herself, himself, themself too, honestly. um like, you know, looking at it, it's like, I mean, you know, I identify it as 16, but like when I was becoming suicidal, when I was like 5 years old, you know, like that felt like 16. I didn't call it 16 then. I didn't call it anything. I didn't think anything of it. What I was aware of is like, um I was, as a child, I was like, I'm not here for everything. I can't stay in my body. I go off into the ether. There's colors and worlds, and I travel, and I don't want to come back to this body, back to this place, back to this dream. And 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 while I'm away, my body still does stuff. Someone animates me as Mindy Lee and goes about my life, and I'm not aware of it because I'm not there at all, because I was traveling in the astral. I'm psychically gifted like you wouldn't believe. And so I would check out, and there would be like people that I met that I didn't remember. My parents would be like, you did this. I would like, it was just, I mean, it was like, obviously it was like a dissociative identity disorder, like back then. But what is the trauma? If if dissociative identity disorder is, I mean, the narrative is that the only way to have this is by trauma. What, pray tell, is my trauma at like 3, 4, 5 years old? You know, like those are the ages that you can like remember things at, right? Like, what happened to me? Is my birth my trauma? Am I not able to stay in my body, and there's something else coming into my body and animating it, you know? I remember the first time that I was like, the first time that I didn't know whether I was telling the truth or not, because I wasn't sure what my body had been doing while I was away. I had been, at that point, I was a little older. I think I was in fourth grade, third grade, second grade. I don't know, so bad at that. But I was a little older, and I was trying to work on splitting my consciousness so that I could go off and do those things and see the pretty colors and feel. I had this perception, that love, like, I heard this word, and I had understanding of this concept, and I was like, this is not love. Love doesn't exist here. I know love. I know love. I had love. I was with love. And like, I'm just framing it as like, love isn't here. and you know, as I got older and I learned more things, it's like, oh, I remember being in heaven with God, and I remember that connection, and I feel the pain, I feel the wound of that separation every day of my life on earth. And I guess that's where the hole came from. Oh yeah, right. Yeah, like okay. So I'm at like 8 maybe. How old are you when you're in second and third grade? I don't know, but some kid that my mom babysat was getting accused of doing something, of defacing um property. They'd taken a permanent marker, and you know what's really funny is that like I don't know, like, if Sharpies like just like weren't popular back then or like what, but like I didn't see a Sharpie for like many years into the future. We had permanent markers. They said permanent marker. They had those weird hexagonal caps on them, and they smelled, and they were fat and thick, you know, and so uh I came to, and like I'm being called in because this girl's like getting accused of doing something, and she's blaming it on me. But like she's a big bully, and she lies, like she lies so much, like we're like, I saw it happen, sweetie, like please stop lying, and she won't let it go. So like that's the situation here. But she's like, I didn't do that, Mindy did that. And I'm like, oh shit, like that kind of does have my hallmark on it. And here's the reason why I'm not sure, because there's this like way that like my gears turned, or like my breath was, like everything happened on this loop, um and it was like it kept perfect time. It was like I always had perfect time. Like it was a metronome type of thing that I could not escape. And it was the infinity symbol. And like there on the windowsill that I was being accused of doing was that thing that was like pervasive to my consciousness. It would like it was that motion, like a sloppy 8. And I was like, huh, I might have started like automatically writing what I was seeing while I was out of body. But see, like the thing is that like it's really hard to talk about dissociative identity disorder and just completely, like, for me to have this conversation and just completely discount demonic possession. Like it's really hard to do that. Because um when I would sleep, it's like I wouldn't sleep. I would switch, and I would go. Like I would leave my body, and something would come into my body, and 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 um but sometimes what would come into my body was something that, like, when I got back I would be like, what what has happened here? And like the only explanation for it was that I was missing time, like a DID person, or like a demonically possessed person, or there was a ghost in the house. Like that was the only explanation. And like I really think it'd be very interesting if, like, sincerely the Catholic Church had been able to come out and like evaluate me. Like, what would they have determined? Like would a demonic exorcism, like, would that be a good idea? Like, is everybody with DID on TikTok just evidence that Satan is like sending his army out now? I mean, you can't definitely assert that that is not what's going on. You don't have evidence to support it, neither do you have the evidence to dismiss it. So I don't think that dismissing the DID community on TikTok is a particularly good idea. Um, given, given what we know about the fact that I can't pinpoint any trauma, like, what is the trauma of these people's life? Like, supposedly, what happened to them that an altar was created, or like, what enabled them to have their consciousness leave? Where is their consciousness going? Do they have any memory of it? Do any of them? What if they tried to have memory of it? Like, I just I mean, I barely have memory of it, because like, how this is so crazy. Like, how do you, like, perceive more color than exists here? How are there more colors? You know? Like, why would it be possible for me to have like infrared vision when I'm dissociated from my body? Like, I really think that that one of the things that could be going on here is that more and more people of the human race are the next step in evolution of consciousness, and they are very psychic, but there's not an outlet for that. And so it gets channeled into these diagnoses, it gets channeled into transgenderism, it gets channeled into DID, it gets channeled into bipolar, like, it gets channeled into schizophrenia, and instead, like, this is a group of people who potentially could learn to wield their powers and use their abilities that, frankly, God gave them. You know? It's like, I don't know. It's hard to remember the things that I saw, the entities that I saw. They were like really scary looking, but I didn't have a frame of reference. You have to be told what scary looking is, by the way, because I hadn't seen any horror movies, because I wasn't exposed to that stuff. I didn't have any frame of reference. Nothing, there was nothing existent in my reality to inform me that glowing red eyes and like thousands of wings and like the bizarre fucking creatures like were, scary. They were just different. And yeah, like the fucking descriptions of like angels, like, yeah, that does sound a lot like what I was seeing as a kid. Like, yeah. Um, and then there's like the interesting thing where, like, my imaginary friend was Slimer from Ghostbusters. Like, as soon as I saw Ghostbusters, um, like, I saw Slimer, like, a lot. And then I don't know how it happened, but I saw Drop Dead Fred, and like had that, when I was a kid, and had that imaginary friend type of experience. And it might have been around then that it was like some part of my consciousness created like another terrestrial being, by which I mean like like someone like my age who's just like off to the side or out of sight. um I don't know though. I don't I don't know. I would have missing time and I would get stickers. I would have stickers. I would have missing time and I would have stickers that I didn't remember getting. And like when you get a sticker as a kid, it's like a really exciting thing. And like back in like, 86, like stickers were like really cool. And like, there were scratch and sniff stickers and like I have said time and again, and I say it again, and I say it in the name of Jesus Christ to God. I speak unto creation that if there is trauma, if there is abuse that I have not uncovered, if there are memories that you have been trying to protect me from, I can handle those memories. And see, with me, I don't know how possible it is to recover those memories because I think that, like, possibly when I was dissociated from my body, just a spirit traveling the astral world, flitting about, doing what I want to do, um, I wound up in some very bad places. And my conscious self, as a child who could just leave her body and go fly around, experienced some really heavy stuff. Like what if you what if you can accidentally like stumble into a hell dimension? And what if that's how the fucking the upside down got here? What if that's how the upside down got here? Because me from this world went to it and I remain a link from it to here because like it's like just under the surface and it's like deeper back from the mirror and it's like shadows that writhe like worms and for some reason like now when I think of it, but like my mind is really polluted, like my memory is really polluted by all of the media that I've been exposed to, but like when I think of this demonic realm that I was able to perceive, when I think of like when I think of entities coming out of mirrors when I was a little kid, it seems very blue black. It seems very blue black. And I don't know how much I can trust that. I don't know how much I can trust anything, but I just think that's interesting. That's gross. That's really gross. I don't know. I mean, once you know, things that should have been scary weren't scary. I did not process fear. Like, you know, I mean, like, part of me was like a little child. Like I remember like being afraid of thunder. Actually, no, I don't know how accurate that is. I think that memory's been like really polluted because I don't know that that's what it was at all. I don't know if that's what I was afraid of. I don't know if that's what had happened. I think that that might have just been the story that I said because I had distinct entities following me, watching me, guiding me, instructing me. They were voices, they had faces, they were as real as you and me. I couldn't distinguish between ghosts, aliens, angels, and real people. I was a child, like walking up to dead space and having conversation with it. Like, trying to think of the men in the neighborhood. Ryan's dad, Monty Lynch, was always like weird. Mom always thought he was weird. I feel like I had like a lot of missing time around him also. Like I barely remember Monty Lynch. Like I remember like going into the living room and he would be there with like his beer all like sprawled on a leather couch or something, like watching TV, but like like I don't remember anything. I don't know. Like no legitimate psychiatric agency will entertain the notion of me. They're like, well, if you're telling us the truth, then the textbook schizophrenia, like it's too severe. You cannot be this schizophrenic and be functioning like you do. Like so you can't be that. And if you're like aware of everything that you're doing when you're claiming to be dissociated, like then you can't be dissociated, and you can't have dissociative identity disorder anyway because it's rare. I mean, as soon as it's out of my mouth, they're like, no, that's very rare. That's very rare. And it's like, like, fucking consider how many fucking people populate the planet. Consider what fucking rare. Okay, what other rare disease? What other rare disease? What's the prevalence of it? Is it like 100 people out of every million people? Okay, then like think of that. How many millions of people are on the planet Earth? If it's just 100 for every million, that is still hundreds of people. Rare occurrence, I think, is like, like 10. They act like it, like, I don't know, I don't know. They won't do it. They won't do it. They can't do it. They can't do it. They can't do it. The government, the fucking United States of America is just Nazi Germany in disguise. The new world order is like 100% being handed down. I actually just saw on TikTok that like they're doing something like saying that like, well, you need to take care of your pre-existing condition, for like if you have a pre-existing condition and you have like vaccination symptoms and COVID symptoms, then like, well, that's, we can't cover you because you had pre-existing conditions. You should have dealt with that. And it's like the dismissal and the diminishment and the abuse and the neglect of the disabled community is like they're trying to erase that. And I mean, and then like fuck, like chronic Lyme disease is a government flu. It's like, and if you can just like fucking like, if you can detect, if you can tell at all, if the government, if the secret fucking government agencies like
have done their due diligence and they know how to pick out a fucking psychic child who can access the upside down and fucking go scry, go walk across the fucking void. I mean, it's fucking void. It's fucking void until you come upon anything, you know? Like, to my awareness, like, I wasn't being triggered. I didn't have a handler, but that's just to my awareness. That's just to my awareness. The weird thing is that, like, how can I have missing time, like typical DID when I'm a child, and not have that as an adult? Have I been a DID system and I have been integrating since I was like born? There's no answers for this. The fucking answers. Oh, the answers are coming. Okay. Well, Ninja says the answers are coming, so you know. Was ist die Antwort? Das ist die Antwort. Was ist die Antwort? Was ist die Antwort? Warum, was ist die Antwort? Warum, was ist die Antwort? Was ist die Antwort? Was ist die Antwort? Was ist die Antwort? Why? Well, we definitely unlocked something there. Because if I can see Ninja and Yolandi, and I have all of this personal evidence for my personal documentations that I am not imagining things, then I very much have the ability to predict the future and to spy on the present. And the witch that he thought that fucking, what is her name? A Skull of Foxes. We followed each other. We chatted on Tumblr because I was popular. I had like 4,000 followers, you know? So, like, I was on a Skull of Foxes radar, definitely. I was fucking dope shit. Ask anybody on Tumblr back in the day. Lady Lovely. Ho! And, yeah, that he thought that she was the witch. He thought that she was the witch. They're looking for the witch. They're like, who's looking at us? Who is that? Who is that? Who is that? They're looking for their source. They're looking for their source. Because I write a song and they hear it. Because we occupy a plane that doesn't have a whole lot on it. And so my voice, it carries, it echoes really far. But also time and distance are completely irrelevant in the space that we are occupying, because we are not three-dimensional beings. We are like clouds of consciousness. We are like beams of light. That's not to say the Antwoord didn't do evil shit. But they don't know they did. But yeah, I have been dreaming about mommy and daddy. Mommy and daddy. I have been dreaming about mommy and daddy. Mommy and daddy. I have been thinking about mommy and daddy. I have been wondering. I had been feeling. I played the song once. I sang the song once. I took up the knife again. And I saw some stuff. And it wasn't very good stuff. And I don't even know if I wrote it down, because it was like, I wasn't trying. I really didn't think that it would happen. I really didn't think that it would happen. I'm like so focused on this Kurt Cobain thing, I'm so focused on Kurt Cobain. Like, why would, like, I didn't think it would happen. I thought that I broke it, the chain, but I guess you can't break a chain to mommy and daddy. Yeah. Starseed brother and sister, I guess. I don't know. I don't know about that Yolandi, actually. I don't have good vibes about her, but you know, I don't really like females all that much, so that could be why. I don't, you know, and it sucks that like she's like way cuter than I am. The haircut does look a lot cuter on her than me. But yeah. I don't know. Am I still angry about that? I don't think so. I don't know. I guess it depends on how it went down. Like, if I could, like, sit down and talk to Ninja, like, hey, just, like, dude, like, how did you come up with the haircut, you know? Like, cause, like, you took my haircut, bro, yo, you know? Like, did you realize that when you were looking in the mirror, I was looking back at you, bro? I don't know. Maybe that happened because we both, like, Eminem, we were both listening to Eminem at the same time, getting high at the same time, listening to Eminem at the same time, masturbating at the same time. I didn't masturbate when I was listening to Eminem and smoking pot. I didn't masturbate until I was like 19. But I don't know, you know. How old was Ninja even the first time I did LSD? How old is Ninja? He's older than me. He's old enough for it to be like legit grooming for Yolandi, and Yolandi is only a year younger than me. I don't know, you know. I think Ninja looks a lot like my dad. I think Ninja looks a lot like my relatives, like my blood, which is interesting. But you know, I'm just chasing him down. That's all I'm doing here is chasing them down. I'm just calling them out. Every vessel that I demand your exodus. Every time I look you in the eye and I call you what you are, you have to move on. You can fly all around me, but you can't really go anywhere. We're both here trapped on Earth, so eventually you're gonna have to face me and not run away, right? Running from your own shadow. Fool, fool, fool. Fool, fool, fool. I don't know, you know? Like, just like nobody nobody was biting anybody's style in the instance of me and Lexi B, right? Yeah. Like, it looked like it. It definitely could have looked like it. Like, if I had been oblivious to Lexi and like done my thing and done everything that like she had done, and like simultaneously done what she was doing, and then I mean, if I wasn't as disabled as I was, you know, if I hadn't been disabled, if I hadn't been disabled, um then, you know, I would have just been Corey Shea. In relation to Lexi, I would have been a Corey. Which is why I give Corey the benefit of the doubt. And I contacted her and I was like, hey, I get it. I get it. I experienced this too, man. Like, we're on the same wavelength. Like, we're like minds. We're spiritual beings. Like, I know I'm significantly older than y'all. So, you know, like, you're kind of like on my wavelength. And like, I'm like established here. So, like, when you like ping me, like, I feel it. Like, you don't even know what you're doing. You don't even know that like your little inspiration that you're getting is like trickling down from me, but like it is. So, you know, like I don't mind it in that instance. I guess, you know, I don't mind it. I don't mind it really anymore. Like if the chicken or the egg came first, it doesn't really matter. Oh, what am I talking about? If God is Satan and Satan is God, if Satan is God and God is Satan, if we're very confused about who we're talking to, if we're very confused about things because like maybe some book told us wrong, maybe some story we believed, I don't know. You gotta be both. You gotta be both. You gotta be both. If you want to be one, you gotta be both. That's how it goes. If you want to be one, you've got to be both. If you want to be one, you've got to be both. Yep, 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 yep. You know, it's a two-way street. I always knew that when I you know, because like when we're sipping from the same pool, I know it. I feel it. I feel eyes on me. I feel eyes on me. And I feel like like there's an alarm that's triggered and like my hackles go up and like there's eyes on me, there's somebody here, somebody watching, somebody's interested that I'm dancing in the flow, in the stream of consciousness. And so I knew that like all the times that I was spying on this South African rap rave group, that they could feel me too. I'm trying to think like when, because there's like so many of the like, because you know, I don't remember dreaming of them. I don't remember seeing them. Um, I don't remember having visions from like the very like. I mean, when did he cut her hair like that? Like I would have had to have been like 6 years old and scrying into the future. I would have had to be scrying from 1989 to 2009. If that's why I have had a lifelong impulse to cut my hair into a mullet, to have this hair, just to have this hair. This is my hair. This has always been my hair. I have been waiting because this was my final form. Final form is when you're ready to step onto the stage. I was sick. I wasn't ready to step onto the stage. So what is it in like theater? Like there's you, but if you can't go on, the show must go on and someone else takes your place. Your understudy. Yeah. Your understudy. I should really, 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 I should really reframe my energetic, reflective, whatever it is that like I feel like about Yolandi. Like, she and I would have fun together. We have had fun together in a lot of dreams. There has been fun. Um, in the parts of visions that are not at all dreams, Yolandi is very rarely there is the thing, and I think that's why I feel that way about it. Um, she didn't really kiss in the Banana Brain music video. She didn't really kiss a girl in a My Little Pony shirt with brunette hair, did she? That wasn't a casting of me, was it? That didn't happen, right? It couldn't have been a My Little Pony shirt. That's two on the nose. Like maybe a rainbow, maybe a horse or something. It couldn't have been a My Little Pony shirt. That's two on the nose. I fed acid to my first boyfriend. I shouldn't have done that. It's like I was integrated and then not integrated. LSD was the best I ever felt in my life. I remember that. That I actually was like feelings, real feelings, love, compassion, sorrow, empathy. I felt so big and so small all at once. I don't know. It feels like LSD glued me back together. Because before I did LSD, so the reason I did LSD without any worry about latent um, psychosis or mental illness, any problems such as that, is that I was having a really hard time determining what was reality. Um, not under the influence of any drugs, and I don't even think I was on medication because I would pretend to be taking meds when I was home and not in a hospital setting. Like I would pretend to take meds, but I wouldn't, and I was like increasingly experiencing alternate timelines where like I would walk through a doorway and like it wouldn't be just a doorway, it would be a portal into another dimension. I would go do something in that dimension and then I would walk back through the door and and so okay, so like totally in a trance, like just like on a track, just like get up from bed, go upstairs, get a knife from the kitchen, go up the rest of the stairs to mom's bedroom, and then come to, like, really, really come to, fully aware that you're standing over your mother with a butcher knife. And then nothing, no violent, no violent imagery, no violent imagery. So suddenly you're back downstairs with blood on your hands. Blood everywhere. There's blood everywhere. Like, when you murder someone in a dissociative state, I don't think you're fucking like concerned about it being neat and tidy. I don't think you are. Um and and then I would go back upstairs, and I'd go through that door, and I would feel that portal shift again as I went through that doorway, and there wouldn't be blood on my hands. And I would go to the kitchen, and the knife was where it was supposed to be, and I would go up to Mom's bedroom, and she would just be sleeping just totally fine. But it felt like a jump. It feels like a jump. But it's okay. I'm just a little psychotic. It's still good. It's still good. But yeah. It there's been a lot of instances in my life where it feels like reality is brand new, and you just entered a simulation, a very convincing set for a movie, and something is just slightly off, but you're not sure what it is. And one of the things for me is the color of something will shift. Like, I will swear up and down that an object was a different color. I know I was using the green cup. I wasn't using the yellow cup. I was using the green cup. I wasn't using the yellow cup. I was using the green cup. This isn't my cup. This isn't my world. But this is the only world there is. Now. The portal jumps. I don't know, it felt like I was in a tower. That's what I said, my tower at my boyfriend's parents' house. And it felt like the room that I occupied was entirely removed from the house. It felt like it floated in a dimension, in a void, and it wasn't even part of the house anymore. And nothing outside of that room was real. And you would think that that would be a matter of being inside too long or something, but no, 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 no. And back then it wasn't even a disturbing thought, because if this room is the only bubble in the whole universe and there's nothing else here, as long as I can manifest Sean coming through that door safely home from work, then it didn't matter. But what changed? His vibration was too low. His vibration was too low to occupy that realm with me. I didn't understand that then. I didn't put that together at all, that that I couldn't go any further than this, that I couldn't get out of this, that I couldn't portal jump to another bubble, that I couldn't miraculously recover, that I couldn't do anything that I wanted to do because my boyfriend was a total pothead and very close to becoming an alcoholic, increasingly interested in drinking. He is now a full-blown alcoholic. But like, back in like mid-aughts, he was not. I just wanted him to stop using marijuana. That's where fear consumed me. I would lose him. I guess I didn't really think of the other side of that, is that he was willing to risk losing his freedom, losing his ability to take care of his debilitatingly disabled love of his life, losing me. He didn't care about losing me. Because marijuana still is illegal in Kansas. And you know what? Not only can we all just, agree that illegal drug obtainment is a risky endeavor, my boyfriend has my personal experiences wherein my first boyfriend went to buy a dime bag and they were like, we've got a whole lot more if you can get the cash together. And he was like, all right, I can get that cash together. And he waltzed in and he like, I wanted to go in with him. I really wanted to go in with him. And he was like, no, stay in the car. And so I didn't witness this myself, but I don't have any reason to believe he was lying. Like, this is the first time he ever tried to buy weed. Um, and he had a gun held to his head and he was robbed at gunpoint just trying to buy weed in Johnson County, Kansas. And actually like I don't know, I want to say like where Billy Amen lived. um Near there. And um like my boyfriend not only has that story where my ex-boyfriend, first time trying to buy weed, almost lost his life. um my boyfriend also had my brother's story, where my brother was just dealing weed, just trying to be small time, just dealing weed for the kids in Johnson County. He don't care about his life. He don't care about the risk, whatever. He just wants to get the pot. Like, realistically, my brother is addicted to weed. My brother, my cohort, my companion, the girl that I called my best friend, despite me ordering her not to, coerced my brother into smoking weed for the first time when he was in 5th grade, with our family trauma, with and she knew, because I told her the reason you can never let Brian smoke weed is because his schizophrenia is already present. My brother has schizophrenic symptoms that I've been managing all my life. If you let my brother smoke weed, You are throwing kerosene onto a schizophrenia fire. And she did it anyway. My boyfriend also had full awareness of my brother's personal experience of just coming up, a little bit more, some a little bit more weed, and my brother finding himself just picking up his order like routine, and just the wrong place at the wrong time. Somebody shows up and they want to smoke meth, and they're making everybody in the room smoke meth. They're asking if the only white boy in the room, deep in the ghetto of Kansas City, Missouri, is a cop. And my brother was forced to smoke meth at gunpoint because he was just picking up weed. So my boyfriend knows the risk of just picking up weed. And every time he would need to go get it for my medicine, I would be terrified for him because he is not a person who has any experience in that world, in my world, in the world. He's 120 pounds wet. He's got big dumb doe eyes. He's a target, he's a mark, he's an easy one if anybody ever wanted it. And I would just try to hold on to that love and light, and I would just try to hold high vibration. And I mean, I'm thinking about it now, and what I needed to be doing was praying. What I needed to be doing was praying to God and saying, God, I'm so scared. I'm so scared for my Sean. I'm so scared for my Sean, for where he's going. And he's doing this for me. He's putting himself at risk for me. But Sean wasn't putting himself at risk for me. Sean was putting himself at risk for him. And when Sean was accidentally smoking all of the weed that we were only ever getting so that I could have it for my pain relief, and when Sean was going to the closet and trying to hide that he was smoking, but I am of him. I'm like, I become of my beloved, and I feel the shift in his energy. I know every time he's high. I know every time he's trying to hide it from me. I know every time. Even if I don't smell it from the closet, it's obvious. And I'm like, how long was he in there? I know how long he was in there. I can tell he's high. And he's not telling me that he did that. And we had a deal. We were like, we weren't going to do it without one another. And we had to like I had to give him permission, and he just became a drug addict with weed, and I just didn't realize that you could just become a drug addict with weed. Not like that. Not like that. Not get all eaten up and hollowed out and have fucking evil just puppet up your ass at the drop of a hat. Not with weed. Weed would make me fearful because I would feel, when I would get high, I would feel like I was going to ascend. And I didn't want to go without him.
I didn't want to leave reality. I didn't want to die. But I'm not talking about death ascension. I'm talking about I just become light and just like a teleporter blight beam. Like I just explode into light. Like it's like my skin can't contain me. Like the molecules are so excited. Like I feel all of them and you know, I was so close to that already. I would feel so close to that already. And just the vibration of love and light, you know, and and the reason the reason that I felt like that whenever I smoked weed with him had nothing to do with the weed and everything to do with him. I have lung problems. I've had pneumonia. I've almost died of pneumonia and bronchitis on so many occasions. I can't just hit a bong. He would hit the weed and I would suck it from his lungs and we would make out. We would make out like we made out before all of this shit hit the fan, before I was sick, before he had to be employed, before we lived at his parents'. We would make out and time would stop. And my feeling like I was gonna ascend and explode into light and return to being God was because of him. Not because weed was raising my vibration. Because weed doesn't raise the vibration of someone like me. Because I've never allowed myself to just rely on marijuana to lift my spirits. Like, I've got to be like neutral to high to even allow myself to use marijuana. I don't even want to get high if I'm not already like happy and having a great time, you know? It's just like a little enhancement. It's just a little shift in consciousness. Getting high didn't used to like really like rattle me or change me. I didn't used to get like really high. I guess like part of that like super consciousness thing that like I'm really really super present and you know like I would get really high but like I wouldn't be like too fucked up to function. I would just be like whoa, you know. But like uh you know, then that changed. Like, my body chemistry just changed, or I don't know, something just changed, and it was just like, it just made me fucking paranoid. It just made me fucking paranoid. And then, like, I mean, the other thing is that, like, it does, like, turn on schizophrenic symptoms. So, like, if you have any, like, doubts going on or any fear, like marijuana just seizes upon that and blows it up and then like you know like i I do hear like a radio chatter and like marijuana will clear up radio chatter and I will become so psychic on marijuana that I will be getting like like just a lot of news, and tragic news and bad news and news I don't want, and like you're the center of your own universe, so I'm receiving news and like becoming aware of things like that are relevant to me, like not even wanting to at all. I was high in the room after my boyfriend, I guess, was raped by that woman who was sent by some Masonic lodge to have sex with my boyfriend while I was out of the picture in the mental institution where you know they were also in control there. um and uh and I was sitting on the edge of the bed, and I started accessing the past and them hanging out together, and I was like, I don't want to be imagining this. I don't want to be picturing this. And like, like I mean, there's just a difference between like imagining like what someone might be like, and like just like scrying on someone, like seeing past events because you're in the same location and your consciousness is like wandering through time a little bit, um and so like I was like experiencing them just kind of like hanging out and like not really doing much of anything, but like it just like it was so fucking disturbing. I mean just the thought of her was so rattling at that point. I was so traumatized by uh being entirely present and participant in the sexual intercourse of my boyfriend and this girl he just met off of OkCupid, when I physically was not there. And I don't know how to process that trauma. I ask all the time. You have to ask if you want answers. You have to ask if you want help, and I do want help. I do, but does anybody else? 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 Just why am I ripped through time and space to go witness my boyfriend cheating on me, much less actually become each of them, both of them? I am just the energy being exchanged between them. I hate it so much. It didn't mean anything to you, really, Kurt? It didn't mean anything to you? Really? Or you just didn't want to say? It's tainted Nirvana. Her initials are MLP, and My Little Pony is dead to me. Every kindly entity that spoke to me through My Little Pony, it's like that Masonic Lodge was just trying to burn up a channel I had. And they did it. I don't really feel any connection to My Little Ponies anymore. I love them. I remember them. Sometimes I remember their little stories, but like their eyes are dead, and their eyes won't come alive. Their eyes won't come alive. They're all dead. My whole army's dead. In one fell swoop of a tight vagina and a horny boy who hadn't had sex with his girlfriend, the love of his life, for like years and years because I was too disabled to do that. But yeah. Anyway, the lyric that I really am trying to forget right now is passing back and forth in one passionless kiss, passing back and forth in one passionless kiss from his mouth to hers, from my mouth to yours. I was just swishing back and forth between them. I was, I was just swishing back and forth between them. I didn't want to be there. I didn't want to see that. I didn't want to be that. I didn't want to feel that. I didn't want that orgasm. Why did I have that orgasm? Is it because he was dissociated? Is it because she was dissociated? Is it because they both were dissociated? I want to be wrong. I want to be crazy. I didn't know it then, because Travis came back years later, only recently. But in the hearse in 2013, it was like being with Travis. And it was like Travis again with Kristen. Manic. Travis's energy is manic, electric, charged, frantic, frenetic, scattered. It's high energy, but it's like volatile. I don't see that Sean anymore. I don't hear that soft, sweet voice. I don't even hear that best friend voice. Do you know what it's like to sit in the bedroom that was your boyfriend, your love of your life's bedroom, and it's empty, and he's called you there to talk to you while he's visiting because he's so freaked out, man. He just feels like he's like a slave to this woman. He can't resist having sex with her. He's just as he feels him that it's wrong and something is telling him to run the other way, but he's so alive, and I just have to be in bro mode and be like, man, you've got good intuition, just like Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about right now? You've come here to my home, to what was our home, was the apartment that we got. The day that you slept with Michelle, and you're in this room here now, and you're telling me you think you're in love with the girl you're sleeping with, and you feel like you're in danger, and you feel like you're losing your ever-loving mind, and you should run away, and you're telling me this, and what am I supposed to do with this? Of course, everything is telling you to run. Where is it telling you to run to, Sean? Where is the universe pointing you, 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 Sean? Where is the universe pointing you? Where is the universe pointing you? What is everything pointing at? Everything's pointing at me. Everything's pointing at me. Once you meet me, everything will resonate and reflect and remind you of me. Your awareness will never be able to fully escape it. You have to find something to replace it because it's driving you mad. Turn it off, turn it off, turn it off with drugs, turn it off with drink, turn it off with every addiction that you have. You're trying to look away from the face of God. You cannot. It is your own reflection in the mirror. I am just from 2 to 1. That's all I am, from 2 to 1. I am just from 2 to 1. I missed that so bad. This is really quality toilet paper. I'm using like I'm a rich person. I'm using this toilet paper right now like I'm a rich person. I'm not even thinking about it. You ever hang out with people who don't fucking even understand their fucking privilege and they need something and they just like, woo, you know? They use something and they're just like, they just burn through shit because they don't understand what it's like to not have anything. They've never experienced it running out, and they had to live without it. You run out of anything, there's another one. I don't know, I guess you all think if I guess you all think you can replace me? I don't know. I guess you all think you can replace me. I guess you do. I guess that's the plan. That I'm just supposed to like fucking check out and be a fucking crazy person or be any of the fucking entities that occupy my consciousness, my alters if you want to fucking call them that. Fucking call them demons. I don't know what their fucking names are. Ask Ninja and Yolandi. They summoned me here. Oh. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. Alexa, play Tool Anima album.
Anima by Tool on Amazon Music.